From a forgotten reference to a Jason Voorhees tribute, these are 40 movie Easter eggs in Fortnite. This Halloween, players are curious when they found a new house on the map called Grim Gables. Inside of it, you can find a special grandfather clock with an upside-down face, but it gets even weirder. From an entirely upside-down room to a well-timed creative map of Hawkins, this is an awesome tribute to Stranger Things Season 4 and its main villain, Vecna. And the references get even more clever with Hunter's Haven. In one of the buildings, you can discover Peely frozen in a block of carbonite, a great Easter egg for all the Star Wars fans out there. Not as exciting as this eye patch, which was hidden on the helicarrier during the Marvel season. It was so small that 99% of players completely missed this, and even though it teased the Nick Fury skin, we didn't see his release until a year later. And that brings us to the sponsor of this video, Marvel Snap. The entire multiverse has been unleashed in this fast-paced card battler that is taking over the internet. Forget the Avengers or X-Men, it is up to you to create your own super team to outsmart your opponent. And let me tell you, these battles get intense. You all know I normally don't play many card games, but Marvel Snap is practically a love letter to the fans and is surprisingly easy to understand. There are 3 random locations that appear in the middle, and your objective, overpower your enemy at 2 of them. You have 6 turns to play your cards, but it comes at the cost of energy. The first turn you'll get 1 energy, but that increases each turn, so the next round you'll get 2, and so on. Every hero or villain has their own ability or trait that could give more energy, maybe an extra turn, or some other benefit, so you really gotta think about who you choose to be in your deck. The coolest thing in the game is the Snap feature, which is what it's named after. This doubles the cosmic cubes at stake, and you can use it to absolutely dominate your opponent, or maybe even bluff them. Marvel Snap is available on both Steam and mobile, but use whatever you like, because your progress carries over on either device. And I know most mobile games at this point have some sort of pay-to-win feature, but Marvel Snap doesn't, and you really gotta respect the devs for that. Thank you to Marvel Snap for sponsoring this video. Click the top link in the description to download, but that brings us to our next point, which is the Lion King Easter egg in Fortnite. With the release of Grizz, we can enjoy his built-in emote, Pick Me Up. Comparing this side by side with Rafiki holding Simba in the Lion King, the resemblance is uncanny, but not as subtle as a secret Easter egg hiding in the gardens of Greasy Grove. Last season, players came across this tea party, which had macarons and a Red Hearts teapot. Looks innocent until you realize it's a reference to Alice in Wonderland. Now, if you prefer Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, Fortnite still has it covered. Over at Logjam Lotus, you can find a small boat with a pirate sail. It seems pretty normal to everyone except those who watched Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the same boat used by Jack Sparrow in the first movie. It even includes his telescope and bucket. A great Easter egg, but this one didn't cause Fortnite to get sued. I cannot say the same for the default dance, which is the most famous emote in the game, but not many people know that it was taken directly from Scrubs, and the actor ended up suing Epic for stealing the dance. Something less obvious was found at the beginning of Chapter 2 with the introduction of Steamy Stacks. Hidden inside the power plant was this pile of pink donuts half-eaten on the control panel, and Homer Simpson definitely appreciates this one. The references were even more on the nose when it came to Lord of the Rings. Just a few months ago, this sandcastle could be found on the beach showing a 1-to-1 recreation of Helm's Deep from the movies. But what happens if you combine 2 Easter eggs into one? And that happened with the reveal of Truckosaurus in Chapter 1. Probably the most OG secret battle royale, which pays tribute to The Simpsons as well as Transformers. We all appreciate when Fortnite hides things in trailers, and with the P1000 reveal, it felt extremely familiar, but you couldn't put your finger on why. And that is when fans compared it to this scene from the first Iron Man, and it's exactly the same. People love the reference, which is why Epic did it again with the reveal of Triggerfish, this time recreating a scene from Apocalypse Now. One of my favorite Easter eggs is also one of the hardest to find. On the paper plane glider from 4 years ago, you could use replay mode to look underneath the wing. You're rewarded for your detective work with a simple message, "My name Jeb," which is of course the meme from 22 Jump Street. And Epic must love comedy movies because they keep referencing them. On one part of the Chapter 2 island, you could find a house with a red car inside. As the weeks progressed, so did the POI, and eventually the legs holding the car up weren't strong enough, and it went straight through the window, just like the famous scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But did you know that this Fortnite trailer has 6 references in under a minute? It starts with some characters finding a UFO just like in 1982's The Thing, and then we see crop circles as a homage to Signs. Moth Mando opens his front door, a pickup truck gets abducted, and the IO uses 5 tones on a keyboard. All of these scenes are actually from Close Encounters. But the coolest part is when the mothership opens up and destroys the Spire, which Independence Day fans will definitely recognize. I just didn't expect a Jonesy skin to also be a reference. When Codename Elf was given a blue variant, everyone realize it was an Easter egg from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, talk about a throwback. But from sand to snow, Chapter 3 brought us a memorable secret with this innocent refrigerator in the desert. Who would have guessed that such a small detail was an actual teaser for the Indiana Jones collab? If we're talking about the other Jones in Fortnite, he also has some amazing connections to Harrison Ford. During the end event, there is a secret that's the definition of blink and you miss it. When Agent Jones is handed a pistol, he does a classic pose that belongs to Han Solo. And even though the game is full of Icon series emotes, Fortnite wasn't always like this. If they wanted to use something in the past, it was simply an Easter egg, with a confused emote as a reference to Pulp Fiction and Groove Jam belonging to Napoleon Dynamite. But by far, the most famous tribute of Fortnite history was discovered during Halloween 2018, when drains all over the island suddenly had a red balloon floating above them. If you popped it, the sound of Pennywise laughing would play. Well, luckily, some Easter eggs actually turned into a collab. In this Fortnitemares, we got Ash Williams from Evil Dead. It wasn't just his skin hiding inside of the woods, you could find the Nobi cabin, which was crammed full of references. From a talking moose to the iconic cellar, you can tell Epic were fans of the movie. But if you talk to Ash while dressed as Spider-Gwen, you'll get one of the most surprising pieces of dialogue I've ever seen. He says, "You remind him of a wrestler he knew," which is a callback to Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man film. Bruce Campbell has a cameo in this scene as an announcer, so there's like 50 layers to this joke. I love it. It's not the only time the fourth wall has been broken. While everyone was distracted by Homer Simpson's donuts, there was an incredible Easter egg hiding in the basement. This orange briefcase confused everybody before it was revealed as a tribute to Tenet. When the movie finally came out, it explained everything. At the end, the characters sacrifice everything to make sure these pieces are never found, and it looks like one of them was stored underneath steamy stacks. The best way that Epic tells a story is through map changes, and when Stealthy Stronghold was released, there were plenty of secrets to uncover. At the beginning, nobody was suspicious about this broken down truck or a helicopter in the tree, until weeks later, when the POI was revealed as the lair of the Predator. Now it became obvious that these vehicles weren't there for decoration, they were taken directly from scenes in the movie. Sometimes Easter eggs don't have to be a hint, which brings us to the most heartwarming secret of Fortnite. With a new endgame LTM, fans notice a subtle change that wasn't there in the past. If you won a game, the Victory Royale screen would have this text at the bottom simply saying Excelsior. This was around the time that Stan Lee passed away, and it was a pretty emotional tribute, I'm not gonna lie. From one legendary secret to another, there was an incredible vehicle hiding in the abandoned buildings of Camp Cod. One of the stables had a car with a sheet on top, and if you look closely, it was obviously the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters. Surprisingly, while Ghostbusters got a collab, we're still waiting to see Jurassic Park. This is one of the most iconic franchises out there, and some of Battle Royale's first ever loading screens were a reference to the movie. The craziest addition was in Chapter 3 when Greasy Grove hit a mind-blowing Easter egg. One of the destroyed houses included a bathtub hanging off the edge, and you're probably wondering, how could this be a reference? And that is until you watch Family Guy's most popular scene.
No, 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 no!
If you're looking at TV shows, you can't ignore Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which has inspired Fortnite's famous dances. From the fresh emote to rambunctious, they are both from the show. But a shameless outfit was featured in Season 3's Battle Pass, and it was a knockoff of John Wick from his beard to the infamous pencil. Luckily, they were able to do an official version, but we will never forget Reaper's influence. The same season also had a nod to Megamind with the Leviathan, and it's pretty clear how similar he is to Minion from the movie. It's not the only skin that was heavily inspired. When Relax Fit Jonesy first released, most people thought it looked like Fat Thor from Endgame, but it was actually a direct reference to The Big Lebowski. I especially love this tribute to an iconic scene from A New Hope. During the Season 3 trailer, Darth Vader uses his baller to target Peely, and it's a replica of the trench run from the film. And just weeks ago, we got another Star Wars Easter egg that everyone missed. In the background of the trailer, there are 3 Bacta tanks to discover, with a llama, fruit, and one person inside. Could it be Luke Skywalker? I think the most surprising movie that's actually been in Fortnite since the beginning is Shrek. From the start of Chapter 1, there's been small wooden outhouses across the map which have the same crescent moon as the one from Shrek's swamp. The references even extend to posters, as Epic was able to hide a huge Easter egg in the Zero Crisis event. The loading screen which showed Jones tying his bandana was taken directly from Rambo. Another famous 80s film appeared in the trailer for Season 9, with Neo tilted being revealed and one of the blimps showing "The future is yours." People noticed a reference to Scarface. Just like the most overlooked Easter egg which nobody talks about. In Chapter 1, there is a saloon car carrying carrying a huge Christmas tree, just like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I'm still not giving up on Back to the Future. Even years ago, Epic was teasing this. The hoverboard trailer was a huge reference to Marty McFly, and then they added a flying DeLorean to BR. Donald Mustard even made some tweets about it, so who knows if it'll become a collab one day. But there's one super hidden Easter egg from the highest rated movie of all time. The Chapter 2 map had this specific wall, which seemed pretty normal, except it was actually an important location from Shawshank Redemption, where the treasure is hidden. Perhaps the best Easter egg in all of Fortnite is for Jason Voorhees? That's right, there's a hockey mask on a stick surrounded by candles, which could only be found in Save the World. It's amazing how this went under the radar, but there's even a Kyle the 13th outfit. We have been dying for these characters in Battle Royale. Come on, Epic. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.